Welcome to the Easy English Fluency channel. Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever finished an IELTS reading test feeling exhausted, confused, and disappointed, even though your English is actually good? If the answer is yes, then this episode is for you. Because today, you are not going to learn more English. You are going to learn how IELTS works. Most students think their problem is vocabulary. Others think their problem is grammar. But the real problem is strategy. IELTS reading is not an English exam. It is a thinking exam. And once you understand the thinking behind it, everything changes. In the next 15 minutes, you will discover a simple system that top scorers use. A system that allows you to read faster, understand more, and stay calm under pressure. This is not about working harder. This is about working smarter. Let's begin. Memory is the brain's ability to encode, store, and retrieve information. Encoding is the process of turning experience into data the brain can keep. Storage is the preservation of that data over time. Retrieval is the act of bringing that information back into awareness. These processes rely on complex networks of neurons that communicate through electrical and chemical signals. The hippocampus plays a major role in forming new memories, while the prefrontal cortex is essential for organizing and recalling them. Emotion, sleep, repetition, and attention strongly influence the strength of a memory. That is why emotionally intense events are easier to remember, and why sleep improves learning. This scientific background will serve as the foundation for today's IELTS reading training. In IELTS reading, each paragraph has a clear function, and that function is nearly always revealed in the first sentence. Consider this paragraph. Memory formation begins when sensory information enters the brain and is transformed into neural signals. From that single sentence, you already know the paragraph's main idea, how memory is formed. You do not need to read the rest yet. Now another example. Long-term memory depends heavily on sleep and emotional engagement. The paragraph will clearly discuss the relationship between memory, sleep, and emotion. When you apply this technique in the exam, you immediately understand which paragraph contains which idea and where to search for each answer. This skill is extremely powerful for matching headings, multiple choice, and true/false/not given. Instead of reading everything, you build a mental map of the text first. Now we move to the second essential skill. Keywords. Keywords are the meaningful core of every question. Important nouns, powerful verbs, and descriptive adjectives. Example question. What factor improves the consolidation of memory during sleep? Keywords. Factor, improves, consolidation, memory, sleep. Your eyes scan the passage. You ignore grammar words. You stop at sleep and memory. You read carefully. During deep sleep, the brain reorganizes information and strengthens neural connections. Answer: deep sleep. This entire process takes seconds when done correctly. You never start reading the passage before identifying the keywords in the question. That is the rule. IELTS rarely repeats vocabulary from the question in the passage. Instead, it tests your ability to recognize synonyms. For example, question, improve. Text, enhance. Question, memory storage. Text, information retention. Question, focus. Text, concentration. Question, permanent. Text, long-lasting. Question, mistake. Text, error. When scanning, you must search for meaning, not exact words. This is the real reason vocabulary matters in IELTS reading. Remember this rule. True. The statement matches the text. False. The text contradicts the statement. Not given. The text does not mention the information. Statement. Emotional memories are always stronger than neutral memories. Text. Emotional intensity often strengthens memory, but this effect varies by individual. The word always makes the statement incorrect. Answer: false. Another statement. The hippocampus stores all long-term memories permanently. Text. No such claim is made. Answer: not given. Now, let's apply everything we've learned. I want you to imagine you are in the real IELTS exam. You open the reading booklet. You see this paragraph. Long-term memory formation relies on repeated exposure to information and emotional involvement, both of which strengthen neural connections in the brain. Stop. Do not read further. What is this paragraph about? It is about how repetition and emotion influence long-term memory formation. That is your mental note. Now here is the question. What two factors help strengthen long-term memory? What are the key words? Factors. Strengthen. Long-term memory. You scan. You find long-term memory. You read carefully. Answer: repeated exposure and emotional involvement. Now another paragraph. Sleep plays a crucial role in memory consolidation by reorganizing information and reinforcing neural pathways. Main idea? The effect of sleep on memory consolidation. Question: why is sleep important for learning? Key words: sleep, important, learning. Scan. Stop. Read. Answer: it reorganizes information and strengthens neural connections. You see how this works? This is not about speed reading. This is about controlled reading. Let's talk about the most dangerous mistakes candidates make. First trap: reading everything. IELTS does not reward full reading. It rewards selective reading. Second trap: looking for the same word. IELTS hides answers behind synonyms. If you search exact words, you will fail. Third trap: confusing false and not given. If the text does not mention it, it is not given. If the text contradicts it, it is false. Fourth trap: wasting time on one question. If you are stuck for more than 40 seconds, skip and return later. These 4 mistakes alone can drop your band score by 1 full level. On exam day, your mindset matters. You must stay calm, structured, and decisive. If you feel panic rising, slow your breathing and return to your system. First sentence, keywords, synonyms, logic. This sequence is your anchor. Never let one question destroy the entire test. Move forward. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Let's lock everything in. IELTS reading mastery is built on 4 pillars. The first sentence reveals the paragraph's purpose. Key words guide your search. Synonyms hide the answers. Logic determines true, false, or not given. When you control your method, you control your score. Remember, this exam does not measure how fast you read, it measures how well you think. Train the system. Trust the process. I will see you in the next episode where we apply this method to a full academic passage together. Until then, study smarter, not harder.